Alafia, aho, I say namaste. And thank you for watching Shadow of Wolves. In blessings to all of you and blessings to your questions about divination. I do apologize. It's been a long time. When I'm in ceremony, in readings, Misa, I don't upload everything all the time. And I know that many of you have asked to do another video when it comes to divination tools and what do they mean. So let's begin, and we will cover as much as possible when it comes to divination tools. So let's start. We need to know that many of the divination tools are very, very sacred. Some of us have no rights. If we're not initiated or we did not receive a certain rank of that religious sector to use divination tools, then we need to refrain from it. So slowly we will move into those practices that need to be respected and that are closed practices. I didn't get a chance to upload everything on TikTok because why? There's a limited time for the channel. So with all blessings to you, let's begin. When we're talking about divination tools, the first and oldest tool is the frame of your mind, is the frame of your crown chakra. There are many clairvoyants and many people who are able to look at you or look at something and they just have that gift, or they develop it over time through their prayers, through what we call an orisha ori. But for you who is a spiritualist and listening to this video, and blessings to you, your crown chakra, when your intuition, when you say I have a gut feeling, follow it. That's the first divination tool, is your soul. But that soul and that chakra needs to be of light. It cannot be infested with bad thoughts, holding on to the past, blaming others for this and that. You have to be very, very pure and clear and be certain that this intuition that you have developed or that you were born with walks with you and that you are absolutely correct. That's the first tool. The first tool is your mind that also walks with your spiritual frame. Now let's move on from that. Many times we do second guess ourselves. The most holiest people, the most holiest man or woman may be like, oh, I'm not too sure. So this is when they are able to divine with their guardian angel. So for example, let's start with those who are babalaos or olo, iboru, iboya, ibocheshe, in blessing. They will use what we call the epole. Do we have rights to do that? If you have not gone to Ifa and completed, not receiving just the hands of a ruler, you are a babalao or a luo, you don't have the ceremony, then you need to go to one because you have no business throwing the epole. Let's be clear. So that belongs to Ifa. Upon that time, they will divine and they will talk to you and tell you whatever Arula is saying. Some say Arumila or Arula is saying. This is the correct way. However, there are facets of so many different beautiful religions. So if you don't want to go that route, you have the route of going towards your spiritual energy. Here's another divination tool. When you are reading with your spiritual energy and someone is giving you the blessing, some spiritualists, they look at the water and they're able to divine through the concepts and the very, very depth within the soul of their minds with water. The spiritualist that gives you this reading, or those of you who already have the knowledge and the blessing that read with the water, and oftentimes a candle is there and they're able to read you, or you're reading other people. This is done with clear, crystal clear spiritual energy. It takes a lot to be a spiritualist, and many people have to know that day-to-day lives can make your soul impure. So you have to continue cleaning yourself. Water is a divination tool, and it is often red. Another divination tool has to do with the blessings of ruins and blessings to the guardians of the Norse. Now, some ruins are made with different types of bones. Some originally have been made with the sacred energy of the trees. Sometimes it's an elder tree. Sometimes it's often an oak tree. Oftentimes, I will leave the description in the box, and those of you who are interested in contacting me, the description will be in the box. It is often the tree that is said Odin once gave his sacrificial time and energy. So when you see the hangman, he's upside down on the tarot, not only in representing Odin, but we need to respect the ruins. Can the ruins be just picked up and just read and thrown and cast, and then we look at a book? No. No. This is why we need eldership for those spiritual leaders who are there and respect initiation process. This has been done many, many years through Scandinavia, Norway, Poland, and so forth around the world. And ruins are very sacred, and there are certain secrets that must be done to ruins in order to divine with them, and they need to be studied. Back then, they would also say that many grand masters of ruins used to use cat fur. I have to tell you, oftentimes these will go into the horn of the animal. Some use a bull and so forth, and they are divined carefully and respected. Respect to the Lady of the Lake. In moving right along, let's talk about some practices that are closed and why they are closed. In the blessings to my father, Chosi, first and foremost, Maferefuna Lodumare, when we're using and casting what is called the Dillogun, some say caracos, this is the Spanish term, some say cowrie shells. Cowrie shells have energy on it. We cannot say, oh, it's okay for me to do this because I received Elegua. It's okay for me to throw the epole because I have the hands of a ruler. We need to respect the energies of initiation process and who they belong to. If not, they're not going to divine correctly anyway. So here is the energy of the Dillogun, okay? This is done through the process when someone is crowned Orisha. After their years and 7 days, they will receive, they have their hand to be able to cast the Dillogun and to do readings. In blessings also to Oba Oriates around the world, as they are said to be the masters of the Dillogun. Stop the press. We don't need drama. This is big enough for everybody. So if you don't like it, just change the channel. So they're said to be masters of Dillogun. However, those who are crowned, they are great santeros and great santeras that we also read the Dillogun. Why do I say Obariate are said to be masters of the Dillogun? Some say the Caracos, because they have their hand washed not to have A-ways for this Orisha or that Orisha, and they are obligated to tell you the truth in working with the energies of the Dillogun. The Dillogun are sacred energies that need to be respected. They're respected of Orisha, because not only the Orikyo sign is very important, but also too they are respected because the crown and the Ori is already open to that person who is an All Orisha, who is crowned, and they are guided by their elders in understanding, understanding, overstanding the Oduns. So let's continue on. Now, some energies are very similar. So for example, you have those who are called, they're Hindu, I believe it's Punits. I respect this religion as well. I heard that they also use the shells, and that is their sector of religion, highly respected. Let's move on. What is similar? the Dillogun for us in Orisha, as we were given the right and introduced to this divination tool to be able to cast. Under the guidance of our elders in the beginning, we know to read Oduns and how to read someone through the Dillogun with blessings. Needs to be respected. Women who are menstruating should not, even though they're crowned, 10, 15 years, should not read or do readings with the Dillogun. Obariate sits on the floor with a mat. We can sit at the table and read the Dillogun as all Orishas. Continuing on, I don't want to bore you. Let's move on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's stick with this information for Orisha. Obi. Casting Obi with blessings. Why is it that we say only those who are crowned? It doesn't matter if you receive the Lokun, if you receive Elegua, Gun, or Chosi, you're not crowned yet. You should not be reading with Obi. You should not be divining with Obi. And let me tell you, there's a reason why. Not only do we Omi Tutu Ona Tutu, Tutu Laroye, and so forth, Tutu Ile, Tutu Aye, and there's prayers behind that. But when you are in the throne, not giving secrets, and when you are doing things, you are introduced to Obi. Each divination tool you are supposed to be introduced to. So when you're taking the Obi and you're doing your prayers and your Mayuba for Orisha, this is because Obi recognizes your Ori underneath your throne of your pillars, and it was given to you through something that you got to do. So Obi needs to be respected. Many people have to crawl before they walk. So should Aleos that are not crowned and are still in Yabarahe read with Obi and divine with Obi with Mayuba? No. Wait till your year and 7 days. That's between you and your Ile. You asked for this video for divination tools, and here you got it. With blessings to all. Now, let's go into something else. Let's talk about the Chamalongos. Some say Chamalongas. Some say the actual coconut shell of the dead. Should this be thrown to Orisha? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This divination tool needs to be respected as well. Remember, they give us so much time and energy of what we're allowed to do and not allowed to do. And as human beings, we have a choice, but you should know what's ethical and what's right. So these shells belong to those who were scratched, in other words, initiated in Palo. Palo Mayombe, whether your Mananzo is Briumba, whether your Mananzo is Palo Monte, and so forth. This divination tool is also given to you, and it is blessed through the energies of the Congo region. Why don't they have the meat on it like Obi? Because they represent the dead. So who has rights to use it? Those who are initiated. Let's talk about this. I hope that you're staying with me because I have more to tell you about Chamalongos. Let's talk more about this. Not only do they need to be carefully studied and divined, the prayers are all different for each sector and religion. So those of you who have your crown of Orisha and you've been scratched and so forth, you should know your Mayubas belong to Orisha. And when you're saying Salam Alaikum, Wa Alaikum Salam, and you're talking to Zambi and you're talking to Lucero or Sarabanda, that this belongs to them. Now, similarity as we went over the Dillogun for Orisha, and it is also used in Hindu faith. Similarity, but different religions. Now, let's talk about these. These are also used in a societe. Every house is different. If they didn't give it to you, oh well. From a societe, especially when you're doing 21 divisions, you have the introduction of these Chamalongos. Why? Not only will you have the spiritual energy and the blessing of law as you're completely initiated. The law will talk to you in different ways. They'll give you dreams. They'll give you messages. Okay? When you're praying to Papa Bon Dieu, when you're praying to Papa Legba Marasa, and you have to ask, in some associates, this is used too, but do you share this with your Palo energy? Do you say Salamu Alaikum? No. You're supposed to have a different set for your 21 divisions. Hopefully this is completely understood. But it's the same tool, but it is differently used with prayers and your initiation. Many people who have Sanse also have this divination tool. They have to do the prayers to their main spirit guide, whether it's your Francisca, whether it's the blessing of your Indio. They go to their law and they want to talk or dream or whatever they're doing. They use it. Everyone has a gift, but these are closed practices. So do I take these Chamalongos and go to my white table of my ancestors and throw to them? Absolutely not. Do I take this and throw it to Gitanas? Absolutely not. This belongs mainly to the Congo region of Palo side, and they belong to the Petwa of the Luo side. Now, there's some houses that say, okay, I spiritually can read you, and I will give you a reading and blessings to Espirititas and so forth. But these are received in initiations. So why be greedy and try to step over on something? There are many people, and I'm going to get into that, who disrespect cultures. That's why so many practices are closed. So it does not mean because it's in your lineage and your grandfather or your mom, they practice in working with a certain energy of, say, Baron Cimetière, or they were a child of Santa Marta. It doesn't give you a right to step over the law and feel like, you know what, this is spiritual. Law are not spirits, and they're not Egun. They are law, and they deserve as much respect as Orisha. They are at that level. They deserve as much respect as Egun, such as Insasi, such as Lucero. So there's no way that we should disrespect and say, okay, it's good for us to respect Orisha, and I can't throw Obi for Orisha, understood, but I'm going to work Palo Egun, or I'm going to, divine this, or whatever people are doing. You have rights as a human being to do what you want. You have rights. But remember, they give you enough rope to hang yourself. There's nothing to play with, especially these ATRs from Africa, African tradition religions. They're closed for a reason. And when we knock on the door and the door is ready for you, you should patiently wait. But it's enough of people, using, having a colonizer mind and using these tools and feel like it's okay for you to walk all over the law, or walk all over Egun, or walk all over Arumila and say, okay, well, you know what? I have a spirit of Arula. Let me just throw this epole. And now I don't even have an epole in my house. Now, there could be an Orisha or a path of Ochun that they're supposed to belong to, but I will not dare disrespect the ruler. So you should not dare disrespect the Lua unless you have initiation as a Sansista, a Mambo, a Hogan, or a Bakor. So in continuing that, you can feel free to do what you want, but you must know that law is nothing to play with, and it will catch up with you eventually. Now, let's talk about some religious sectors and some beliefs, as you are free to do what you must. Let's talk about the natural gift of scrying. Let's talk about having two mirrors between the two worlds where you're able to see. And you are trained unto your elder, just like other divination tools, but spiritualism is very free. Many of you are born as diviners. So mote it be. So when you are scrying and you see the mirrors and you're able to read this, which must be done when the lights are low, when you have your candle and you have your protection and you know what you are doing. This is called scrying. The mirror of scrying is very, very personal and takes spiritual development. Yes, another divination tool. Let's go into the energy of tarot. Not only, she doesn't watch videos, she's very, very beautiful and powerful. And blessings to my School of Tarot, Dickie Joe Mullen. Wonderful teacher. Before COVID, I'm honored to say that I graduated from her class, even though our religious beliefs are different. But let's go into tarot. The energy of tarot, the card has to resonate with you. There are divination tools of tarot. And it's not like, oh, let me just study this and this means this and I know how to shuffle like a gambler from Atlantic City. Honey, ain't gonna get you nowhere. You need to study the tarot. You need to work with your intuition. You need to do this with the purity of spirit guides because they will guide you. No matter what your religious belief, or if you just believe in spiritualism, which is just as beautiful, the energies of tarot will guide your spirits into how to read the tarot, even though they do have different meanings and different energies. Your intuition will give you the blessing of tarot readings, okay? Now, there's always a sector of different energies that work with tarot. Some of those who are witches, some of those who are sorcerers, some of those who are warlocks, some of those who are gypsies, some say gitanas, some say have foundation with the Romanese and so forth. Tarot is a beautiful way that is not a closed practice that you can divine with, but it's according to your energy. Now, another energy of beautiful readings and ways in which you could divine are pendulums, okay? So oftentimes I have spoken about this in my readings. Pendulums, when you hold them and you know that the particular pendulum walks with you and you ask a question, it's either yes or no, or maybe. You have to be certain with these divination tools. All divination tools need to be washed and refreshed and respected highly. Now, some use shells, some divine with shells. They have the blessing to do this. Whoa, I love those who do. Oh my goodness, amazing. Some divine also too with bones. Buffalo bone and so forth. Whatever rocks your boat, baby. Whatever you know fits. Now, many of you I've seen also divine with the energy of crystals, okay? So these energies of crystals you can use for yes and no, and they always have to be cleansed. So many of you have the divination tools. Please know you need to take your time. Some of you are just, you want to crawl before you walk. Some of you are able to divine with fire. Some of you just need to wake up, if you don't mind me saying. Wake up. When you see something, that is your own glance and your own spiritual energy that will tell you this particular bird in the sky sent a message for me in this fashion or that fashion. It just takes time to develop your spiritual energy. Your spiritual energy will take you a long way, but it needs to be clean. If you are messing with this video and you're looking at this and you're looking at that, you're taking in different energies that don't belong to you. Some of you want to learn so quickly, but you're going to stumble and fall because you can't run a mile in a day. It takes a long time to do so. They say in our Pataki, in going over Orisha, you eat an elephant little by little. You can't swallow a whole meal at once. Is any better than the other? No. They all have beauty and blessing. My personal opinion, I believe in the light of God first, and I believe in spiritual energy first. And I believe The most beautiful ever is your spiritual energy because it comprises of you. This is what I believe. Now, I don't want to bore you with any more information. I think that's enough for today. One more thing is to know that many of you have the great divination of the crystal ball. Many of you can see. Not all divination tools belong to your spiritual energy. I thank those who have trusted me over and over again and come in for a reading. I am so grateful and thankful to all energies, especially all the God children, that even though you're around the world, even though you're in different states, I thank you. I thank all those elders who have reached out, who speak, who I have learned from, all the founders. I thank you. And blessings to all. Do know that you need to pace yourself. Please never throw your chamalongos and ever say, hey, bendición. Ugh. In Orisha ceremony, I do not like bendición. Try to say your mayuba, for example. Try to learn this. You already crowned, say your mayuba. When you're in the table in front of your white table, please don't be foolish and say mayuba. You say the prayers that belong to the white table. White table are for your ancestors and spirits of light. Every single divination tool and every religious energy has its own prayers. That's how you will call on those energies. I will not sit in front of Ochosi, my guardian angel, my crown, my love, and say, hey, Salam Alaikum, or our Father who art in heaven. No, you need to pace yourself and know that one energy belongs to one energy and the other belongs to the other. And the law, the Orisha, the spirits, whatever you're involved in, they'll let you get away with whatever you're doing. But there's a reason why we are introduced to Obi. There's a reason why Babalaos use the epole. There are reasons why us as Santeros use the Dillogun. There are reasons why there are so many Falkers that use the Norse symbols and work with that. And this takes careful strategy and changing. You could walk and knock on one door. It doesn't open for you. It's not time yet, or it's not meant to be. So in blessings to all of you, Alafia, Aho, I say namaste. And thank you for watching Shadow of Wolves. In love to the world, in love to you.